Governor Granholm, thanks very much for coming in.
Good morning, Wolf.
What did you think of Governor Romney's proposals that GM, Chrysler, and Ford, they simply need to get their act together, do a major restructuring before they become worthy of any federal government assistance?
I don't think anybody wants to see a blank check. I don't think anyone wants to be in this position in 6 to 12 months. But what Governor Romney wrote in the New York Times last weekend was, quote, let them go bankrupt. And I don't think that's exactly what he was saying a minute ago. I think he sort of backed off of that. But nobody is going to buy a car from a bankrupt automaker. They've done independent surveys, Wolf, and 80% of consumers say they would not buy a car from a bankrupt automaker. You can't manage yourself out of bankruptcy if no one is buying your products to be able to have the funds to move through bankruptcy. So the bottom line is that clearly the automakers have to demonstrate to Congress that they are restructuring and they have a plan to move them forward, to show leadership in fuel efficiency, show leadership in electric vehicles. That's what they've got to come to Congress with. They did not make an effective case this past week in the plans that they are undertaking to lead the nation to energy independence. And that's what's frustrating. You know, and I'm sorry to keep going on, but
all right, well, let me stop you for a moment, because there's a difference between filing bankruptcy and filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, as it is. And the argument is if they file for Chapter 11, this gives them an opening. It gives them an opportunity to do the massive restructuring that everyone seems to think they need to do.
No, I mean, it's the same thing to the consumer, though, Wolf. You know, filing for Chapter 11 means that you have essentially filed for bankruptcy. So consumers are not going to buy a car from a company that they are concerned their largest consumer purchase is not going to be able to have their warranties serviced. It's not going to be able to get the parts, as you said.
Because Governor Romney just said, excuse me for interrupting, he said the federal government perhaps could come up with a way for guaranteeing the guarantees, if you will, and the spare parts.
Yeah, but still, I mean, so the government guarantees it. You know, people are affiliated with their car. It's the largest consumer purchase they make. They have choices. They can go to another car company. Why would they take the risk? They are not going to put tens of thousands of dollars down on a product that they aren't sure is going to give them the security, the quality that they need because a company's declared bankruptcy. The irony about all of this is, especially with that op-ed piece that Mitt Romney ran about letting Detroit die, is first of all that he was in Michigan when he ran for president, saying what a partner that he would be if he were president. In fact, there was so much enthusiasm in Michigan that he actually won the primary. Said those manufacturing jobs that have been lost are coming back and all of that. This past week there was a lot of eyebrow raising. There was a feeling that there was some breathtaking hypocrisy in the way he campaigned in Michigan and what he's saying now. But the thing that's most important about this conversation is that the automakers have been restructuring, and Michigan is the poster child for why this for the evidence that this has been happening.
Let me play for you what Senator Richard Shelby said on ABC just a little while ago. He's the ranking member of the Senate Banking Committee. I'll play this clip. Listen to this.
I don't believe $25 billion will be enough. I don't believe 50 will be. I believe it will take several hundred billion, and still they might not make it. So I believe they've got an opportunity to go through a restructuring in Chapter 11. Here, we would like these companies to survive, but they're not going to survive. They're basically failures now unless they have new management, new innovation, new products.
All right, he's a tough critic. What do you think?
First of all, he represents a state that spent hundreds of millions of dollars to lure a foreign auto company into their state. But the reality is that these companies have been restructuring. We in Michigan have lost 400,000 jobs since the year 2000 because they have been excess capacity has been eliminated. They have restructured their pipeline of vehicles. They are in the process of putting out electric vehicles, hybrid vehicles. The Volt is coming online in 2010. They need to demonstrate to Congress that they have these plans in the pipeline, and that what happened over the past few months is a financial crisis that has disabled them from being able to borrow and has not allowed consumers to be able to access credit either. When you layer upon this financial crisis to the restructuring that's happening, that has what's made it impossible for them to move forward. What they're asking for is a bridge loan to be able to get to those plans that they want to be able to demonstrate. But clearly they have to lead this nation to energy independence.
Here's what David Axelrod, senior advisor to the president-elect Barack Obama, said on Fox earlier today, because he's speaking for the president-elect. Listen.
What we can't give is a blank check for an industry that isn't prepared to reform itself, to rationalize itself, and to retool for the markets of today and tomorrow.
That doesn't exactly sound like a huge vote of confidence in Ford, Chrysler, and GM.
Well, but what he also said in that interview is that the president-elect thinks it's incredibly important to have an auto industry that is vibrant and robust and leads our nation to energy independence. That plan that has to be worked on. Yes, there has to be restructuring, and there has been and there will be. Yes, there has to be product in the pipeline that is fuel efficient. There has been and there will be. Yes, there have to be plans to make sure that they're competitive. There will be. But the irony is that these international companies that everyone wants us to be competitive with have countries that provide health care for their businesses. Our country does not, and that's part of Barack Obama's plan to move us forward, is to make our industry competitive by providing universal access to affordable health care, and that's a piece of the solution too.
He also said, Axelrod, that it was really essential for these CEOs of the big three automakers, next time they come and bring their restructuring plans to Washington, to fly commercial rather than on these private jets. That's been a pretty embarrassing public relations disaster for the big three, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. I mean, clearly symbolism is important, and my guess is they will fly commercial. But obviously the most important aspect of what they've got to do is demonstrate the plan of how they will be viable, how they will help to lead this nation. And let me say one other quick thing, Wolf, is that people have, I think, put aside the notion of the importance of the auto industry to national security. We have to have a manufacturing industry for our nation to be secure, but we also have to have a manufacturing auto industry that is producing electric vehicles and the batteries associated with those electric vehicles, because right now the batteries are produced in Asia. We get our oil from the Middle East. If we don't have a robust manufacturing automotive industry that produces solutions that make us fuel efficient and electric, then we will have outsourced all of our energy solutions. It's a critical national need to have these solutions in the United States for our future.
Tom Friedman, the columnist in the New York Times, wrote this today. He said, I don't want to see Detroit's auto industry wiped out, but what are we supposed to do with the auto executives who fly to Washington in 3 separate private jets, ask for a taxpayer bailout, and offer no detailed plan for their own transformation? Are you having a heart-to-heart right now, yourself, Governor Granholm, with these big three automaker executives?
Yeah, the big three auto execs would agree probably that this was not their best week, and they didn't make the case in the way that they need to. They're going to have another shot, and I think we're all grateful in Michigan to Congress for giving them another shot at showing where they're going, because we know that they do have this product in the pipeline, and they intend to lead the world in the solutions to energy independence, but they weren't able to demonstrate that. Tom Friedman has got tremendous ideas about how to make us energy independent as a nation. He would be probably among the first to say that we've got to produce the batteries in this country, that we have to have the R&D in this country, that's part of what is known as distributed generation and storage of energy through the vehicle that will lead us to energy independence. That's the future, but that was what was not able to be expressed last week.